Good morning, everyone, and I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. In today's episode, I'll be discussing Aristotle's concept of the self. So, what is the self according to Aristotle? The self basically is the human person according to Aristotle. And the human person is to be understood as a highly morphic union of two substances, matter and form. When we speak of form, it refers to the human soul or the principle of life or the cause or source of life, that which life proceeds from. And matter refers to the body or the material or corporeal substance that is composed of flesh and bones and blood. So for Aristotle, the soul and the body are not separate, unlike his teacher Plato, who thought of the body merely as the container of the soul. For Aristotle, these two substances of soul and body are actually substantially united, meaning they are one. They are no longer two substances but one, and they cannot be physically or chemically divided or detached from one another. The detachment maybe would come during death, during the corruption of the body. So that's the difference between Aristotle and Plato's concept of the self. So again, for Plato, the self is merely the soul and not the body. But for Aristotle, the self, the human person, the individual man, is a substantial union of body and soul. And also, more than the highly morphic explanation of the nature of the self and man, Aristotle also said that the self, the individual man, is a rational animal or a rational being. Well, the human being is an animal because just like an animal, he has a body which has sensation, instincts, and other faculties that animals have. But more than just an animal, he is rational. He is endowed, or he or she is endowed with the intellect or the capacity to reason, the capacity to abstract, that capacity to know the essences of things, to come up with ideas and find meaning in life and seek the truth, because the truth is the object or the goal of the intellect, and of course the good. So once the good is known, it's called the truth. And the role of the intellect is actually to guide, educate, inform the will of the good, so that the will be able to choose, decide for the good, to spouse the good at all times. So what makes man or the individual or the self unique from any other kind of animal is its capacity to reason, to know right from wrong, to discern the truth and the good, and to pursue it at all times. So that separates man from the rest of the animal kingdom, and that makes man special. As a rational being, he is a thinker, or he or she is capable of knowing the truth, knowing the good, and choosing it. Aside from being a thinker, being a rational animal, the human being or the self, according to Aristotle, is a political or a social animal or a social being. Man is not an island. Man cannot live on his or her own. So a human being lives in a community. He or she is born and raised in a family, in a clan, in a state, or in a community. And what is the role of the human being in that community? Well, the human being, because he is a rational animal capable of knowing the truth and the good, is expected to be virtuous, to live a life in accordance to the good, to follow the law for the sake of the common good, the good of all. So it is expected that the human being has to participate in the community, to educate others of the good, to lead others of the good, to show others what goodness is by his own decisions and actions, and of course, establish laws and policies, activities, and programs that will bring about the good in every person, or that allows every person living in the community achieve happiness. So this is also what is unique in the self, because the self is capable of achieving happiness. And happiness, according to Aristotle, is composed of four basic elements. To be happy, one has to be healthy. So health. Two, in order to be, or second, in order to be happy, one has to have wealth, or enough resources, not just to satisfy one's needs and survival, but be able to share and contribute also to the prosperity and welfare of others in the community. So the sharing of wealth for the sustainability of life and happiness in the life of the community. And of course, to participate in good governance so that justice will be observed in the community. So what is justice? So justice is virtue. It's all about avoiding extremes, or avoiding too much and too less. So always observe moderation, or providing the avenue to excel in one's rationality, to excel in one's nature as rational beings. And the only way to excel in our nature as rational beings is to live in harmony and peace. In a peaceful community, one is able to become virtuous, one is able to achieve health, one is able to achieve wealth, and one is able to pursue the good. And finally, to be happy in society or in a community is to have true friends. True friendship is about seeing good in a friend and sharing one's goodness without reservation to that friend. And that friend reciprocates the perception of goodness and the sharing of one's goodness to another person. Aristotle said it's really hard to find true friends because it's really rare for two friends to reciprocate each other's goodness. So that's why Aristotle warned us of false friendships, or fake friendships, or inauthentic friendships. And inauthentic friendships mean that one does not see the good in other, and one does not share one's goodness to another. One merely uses another as an instrument to the fruition or the accomplishment of one's self-interest. In other words, it's taking advantage of others. It's all about manipulation. It's all about control. It's all about treating people merely as means and not as an end. So Aristotle says that kind of friendship is false friendship, that is inauthentic, or a friendship that is not genuine, and it is a friendship that all of us must avoid for us to live a happy life in society. So that is the concept of self, or the notion of self in Aristotle, that we are all capable of true friendship, and that true friendship is essential to a happy life in a community. So thank you for watching and listening. That's the concept of self according to Aristotle in a very concise discussion. Please click like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.